Hey guys, how are y'all? So, if you don't already know me, I'm Kenzie from Coral Tribe, and I'm so happy. Scared me there. I'm so happy to be able to finish our series, Questionable, because this series, I think we can all agree, has been wonderful. I have learned so much, and I hope y'all have too, because it's been great. And this week, we are also going over a lot of scripture, but I think it's going to be great, and I think you guys are going to love it. So, starting off, has any of you guys been to like a career fair or a craft or a job fair? I know some of the middle schools went, but so if you don't know what it is, it's like almost like a craft fair, and there's different booths for different careers. Like I gotta think, military, doctor, nursing, even though those are kind of close. Teaching, but in my family, my sisters are nurses and teachers, and my brother's in the military, so it's very well spread out. But you're probably wondering how this ties into our message. It ties in because it asks the question, why is Christianity worth it? That was a big jump, but we want to know why the Christianity path and the road is so worth it when there's all these other paths that we can take. And so, in the middle of all of these things sits Christianity, whether it's the road we take to fame or to fitness. Some of us want to just go straight into starting our own business, making money, or we're traveling. It's up to literally everyone. Think of a scenario how people in relationships, say you have a long-term relationship and it ends. If the relationship ends, it could go good. It could go two ways. It could go good and it can go bad. Bad meaning the person doesn't know what to do after a relationship's over, and they just go from person to person to person, and they just don't know what to do with themselves because they can't find fulfillment in anything else except for other people, and they just keep doing that until they feel okay. But no matter what they do or where they go, they'll still feel that nagging sense that something's missing. And so the thing is that we've been going over every week that God isn't afraid of our questions. And this question about Christianity is no different than God is secure, loving, and ready to answer those questions and ready to meet us right in the middle where we need him. The second thing to understand is the quest for fulfillment is tale as old as time. Everyone is looking for fulfillment all the time, even if you don't even know it. In fact, an ancient king, Solomon, has an entire journal of all the things he went after to pursue fulfillment. Solomon was one of the most influential people in the Bible. He was a brilliant leader. He was one of the wisest and wealthiest people. It even says that in the Bible. And he led people throughout Israel to an incredible time of growth and expansion. And so in his journal called Ecclesiastes, in the Old Testament, he talks about some of the things he tried. And it says, "So I became greater than all who had lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all my labors. But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere." So Solomon tried all the world's options, and he still couldn't find fulfillment in anything. He could literally have anything he wanted. Like I said, he was probably the wealthiest man at the time. And none of it was good enough for him. None of it just filled his heart. And every time that he'd try something, it just came short to him. And so think about it as your favorite fast food restaurant. I know every time me and my mom go to the beach, right after we go to Chick-fil-A, because that's our favorite. And so after Chick-fil-A, we're all happy, we're full, but then it comes dinner time, and we're like, what happened to the feeling that we had earlier when we were filled with joy with the meal we just had. And it was behind us in our memories. But then the next day, we look forward to our beach day and our Chick-fil-A. But you see that big gap where we were so happy, and then it just quickly went to, it was behind us. And that's how Solomon felt. He was full, and then everything was behind him. And it just all comes up short. And why is that? It's because the world can't be enough. Other people can't be enough, and we can't even be enough. And so no matter how hard we try, no matter how much we want it, the wants and needs in our soul and heart will always remain unfulfilled. That's unless we know where it comes from. If you were here last week, we talked about our loving God and how he wants us to be in loving relationships with him, but we also had to face reality. And we had to learn about the lies that we have to face, like how God's not a good and loving father, or even that God's not real. God's not there. Sin broke relationships. But if God's not there, or he's not good and loving, then we have to go find fulfillment on our own, right? And that's exactly what we did, and it's exactly what we do. We turn to others, we turn to the world, and we turn to ourselves. And it's just like King Solomon. He turned to everything except for God. Like I said, he had everything. He could have everything, but it just wasn't enough for him. And so God is the source of all good things. He invented the relationships of love and created us to enjoy them. In the book of John, it talks about Jesus. You probably know this story about Jesus by the well and the Samaritan woman. But Jesus sat down in the well and says, by the well, and says, "It was about noon when a Samaritan woman came to draw water. Jesus said to her, 'Will you give me a drink?' His disciples had gone into town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, 'You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?' For Jews do not associate with Samaritans." So it wasn't strange. It was not only strange that the woman was there at that time of day, because it was the hottest time of the day. She was there alone, and she was talking to Jesus, whom was a Jew. And so that appeared weird to her, and not Jesus. Jesus turns the conversation, and he answers, "If you knew the gift of God and who it was that asked you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." So Jesus had a greater gift to give her, and he captured her desire for water and offered himself as living water, but she still didn't understand what he was trying to tell her. "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water?" Jesus answers, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them and a spring of water welling up to eternal life." Jesus is talking about that feeling me and my mom had the day after Chick-fil-A, and how it just wasn't, I just felt empty. But he's telling her that if I want to be satisfied, or if she wants to be satisfied, it's me. I offer fulfillment without you having to work hard to attain it. So right there, Jesus is telling her that if she wants water, don't get from that nasty well. Go to Jesus. He is there to rescue you, and he was there to rescue her, and she couldn't put her finger on it. And so think about it as, say you're at a football game. You're playing in the football game, and you get a touchdown. Or you're in a softball or baseball game, and you make that really good catch. And you're playing soccer, and you make that goal. But then later that day, you remember all the mistakes you made, and all the regrets you had. All that stuff is running through your head. And all that joy that you had, all that fulfillment, all that happiness was gone in that moment, and you just wish you could go back. And so think of it this way. the Creator made us to find fulfillment in Jesus. And so going back to the story, Jesus met the woman there, knew everything that she had done. And what she had done was she had 5 previous husbands, still living with her 6th. And she was living with her 6th, and she knew she was a sinner. And when she found out he was the Messiah, she was very shocked that he was going to her out of anyone. Like, the amount of times that she had sinned, she was shocked. And so she went to the well at the time she did because she wanted to avoid the gossip, the drama, and all of the other things. She didn't want to hear people call her names just because she knew she was a sinner. But a couple of years later, we know that Jesus died on the cross, and then a couple days later, he comes back. And he does that for me, he does that for that girl, and he does that for y'all. And so, Christianity is the way of following Jesus, and it's better than we expected. For this woman at the well, when she encountered the living water, she left different. In the Bible, it said that she told everyone in her town, meaning the people that she was hiding from. The people that she probably was hiding from for years. So the courage to be able to do that is beyond the roof amazing. And so we saw it then, and we see it today, that people followed Jesus and found peace, contentment, and fulfillment on the other side. And that's the invitation I want to extend to you. Follow Jesus, surrender your life to him, obey him, and live the way he lived. Trust his goodness enough to let go of control of your life and see what adventure may be waiting for you on the other side of your surrender. The Creator made you to find fulfillment in Jesus, and I invite you to take that step of following tonight. So I'm going to ask everybody to bow their heads, and I'm going to pray. Dear God, we come to you tonight, and I want you to pray with me in your heart and repeat after me. I admit that I have sinned. I admit that I have done something wrong. I admit that I have lived up to this point as an unrighteous person. I have lived my own understanding and now yours. But God, for the first time, I believe in your understanding. I believe in you. I believe in your Son. I believe that you sacrificed Jesus for me. I believe in the unconditional love it required for you to send him back and the unconditional power it required for you to bring him back to life. And God, with this new understanding of you, I choose right now to commit to you. I commit to being a Christ follower. I commit to following you with my life. With a childlike innocence, I commit to living and loving you forever. And I am so excited for our future. I commit to a relationship with you right here, right now.